Hello, Fuse Nation. Thank you for joining me for another live Sports Fusion episode. My name is Alex Fuse. Thank you for watching tonight. My friend Rodger Wyland is back on Sports Fusion tonight. So, Rodger, how are you doing tonight?
Alex, fantastic. Doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Summer's flying by.
Yeah.
Enjoying covering Saratoga racing season. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good as well. And I mean, you're on 104.5 ESPN radio every morning from 10 to noon. So, what's it like working there now?
It's been great. It's been a nice transition. I was at the Fox affiliate, as you know, because you've been into those studios, WOFX 980 AM for 15 years, but a really good opportunity came along, and one that I just couldn't pass on. And I've been thrilled and really more than pleased with how it's gone so far. It's an FM station. The signal's a little stronger, and the ratings are really good. We follow Mike and Mike in the morning, and it's an ESPN affiliate. So far we've off to a good start. We started July the 5th, and again, I'm extremely happy with the early parts of our show.
That's great. And Brady Fargus is the producer on your show there, and he's been on Sports Fusion a few times. So what's it like working with Brady?
Brady's great. You know, he's kind of like you, Alex. He's young and he's hungry, and he works really hard, and he produces really strong shows. He lines up some really good guests for us, and just a really good young up and coming talent. And he's actually become a really big part of the show because in my prior job, I didn't really have a producer that knew that much about sports, so I really had a hard time including him. Where with Brady, he's very knowledgeable in sports, and so he's kind of become, in a lot of ways, a co-anchor of the program.
That's awesome, yeah. So let's talk a little about the Yankees. They traded away some of the three biggest names on the team. Chapman, we saw last week, Miller a few days ago, and Beltran a few days ago at the end of the deadline. So, I like this transition period for the New York Yankees. What about you, Rodger?
Well, I was against it for a little while, and I'm really not so sure that they would have done it had they not lost 2 games to Tampa back-to-back last weekend. I think Hal Steinbrenner was still on the fence that maybe this team could do something. But once they traded, not so much Chapman, but once they traded Miller, I knew that there was going to be more to come. And then it made sense to trade Beltran, and it made sense to make a move with Ivan Nova. And so now I look at the bigger picture. Okay, the Yankees have one of the top farm systems in baseball right now. They went from Baseball America ranked them 11th or 12th, and now they're ranked, in the top 5 somewhere. They got 12 new players. Now they still have to pan out. All of that still has to happen, but I think it does set them up for a very bright future. Maybe not as soon as next year, but in 2 years down the road. Maybe we won't be talking about missing Chapman or missing Miller. We'll be talking about, the Clint Frazier's of the world and some of the other guys that they have gotten in all these trades.
No, I agree with you on all what you just said. And the Yankees, if they just, let Chapman and Beltran stay on the team, they could have walked at the end of the season. But instead, they got a whole almost 10 prospects and traded. If the Yankees really want to, they can sign back Chapman and Beltran at the end of the year. So, I mean, it's a win-win for the Yankees.
You're exactly right. And Alex, you sound like Brian Cashman trying to convince Hal Steinbrenner. And that's the game that Brian Cashman has been playing. I don't think he ever thought for a second that this Yankee team, at least in the last couple of months, was going to be a playoff team. He called them pretenders in an interview after they made some of these trades. So it was a matter of convincing Hal, because you understand the business side of this. Hal Steinbrenner looks at, all right, how many tickets are we going to be able to sell if I get rid of all these really good players and these name players? How many fans are still going to come to Yankee Stadium? What's going to happen to my ratings when we really don't have any big name stars on our team, where we've traded away some of the more popular players like a Chapman, like a Miller, Beltran having an outstanding year. So Hal was that's the reason that you get the resistance from the owner, is for all the reasons that I just mentioned. From Brian Cashman's standpoint, it's strictly about baseball. It's a baseball decision, and that's what he made.
Okay, let's go over across town. The Yankees are actually playing this team right now, the New York Mets. what do you think about this Mets team after just getting Jay Bruce at the trade deadline and going forward in the rest of the season? Do you see the Mets making the playoffs just like they did last year?
I'm not so sure. I don't feel it right now. I really don't. I don't feel the same vibe that I felt last year. I don't dislike the Jay Bruce trade because I think he can hit. Right. Although he was 0 for 4 in his debut, but that's a small sample size, and I'm sure the nerves were there in his debut at Citi Field. But I'm not seeing what I saw last year, and I think the pitching staff is not as strong. And obviously, you've lost Matt Harvey. Right. Still some issues with some of the other guys with bone spurs, and what had a ton of injuries on this team. They're hoping that Bruce can ignite them the way Cespedes did a year ago. And he might be able to help. I think he will help. I just don't see this Mets team right now, the way I'm looking at them and the way they're playing. I don't see this team making a run to the World Series.
Okay. And we'll talk about a little about the NFL quickly. The Jets signed Ryan Fitzpatrick last week. So what do you think about the New York Jets this year?
I like the Jets. Okay. I don't think that Ryan Fitzpatrick will have the year he had last year because it was a record year, 31 touchdown passes. But I think he's capable of having a really good season, and I think there are some good parts on both sides of the ball. I think they're a playoff team. I really do. I think the Jets make the playoffs. And to be honest with you, Alex, I think the Giants offensively this year. I'm going to Giants training camp on Thursday to spend the day there and interview some of the players and Ben McAdoo. I think when I look at their offense, if Victor Cruz is healthy, and right now he is, that offense is really going to be able to put some points on the board. So I think it'll be a big turnaround for the Giants. I think they have a great chance to win that division because they spent $200 million on their defense and they're much improved there. At least they better be. And I like the Giants a lot, and I think the Jets are a playoff team too. Okay.
And one more question before we wrap up this interview. Tom Brady has been in the headlines of all the sports news papers and online articles over the past, basically 2 years. But with the Deflategate finally coming to an end, Tom Brady has been suspended for the first 4 games of the season. Do you see the Patriots going 4-0 in that time span, or 3-1, or what is your prediction for the New England Patriots in those first 4 games?
I mean, I think they're capable of winning games without Tom Brady at quarterback because Bill Belichick is such a smart coach, and I think he'll push all the right buttons with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think he'll ask him to do too much. And do I think they're going to go 4-0? No. I think they're going to go 0-4. No. Do I think I see them at a 2-2 team, and then Tom Brady comes back and away they go? Yeah, I kind of see that. But to be perfectly honest, if anybody tells you that they know how Jimmy Garoppolo is going to perform when the lights go on and it's the real deal in week 1, then they're misleading you because I don't think anybody can predict exactly what Garoppolo is going to do because he hasn't done it before. So. And there's some big shoes to fill, and there'll be some pressure. So let's see how he handles that. But I'm sure that Bill Belichick, and as strong of a football mind and a football guy as he is, and his staff will figure out a way to win a few games without Tom Brady as their starting quarterback.
Okay, Rodger. I want you to tell the whole Fuse Nation where can they listen to you weekdays, and where can they follow you on Twitter?
Well, it's at Rodger Wyland on Twitter. Okay. You can also find me on Facebook, as you know, Alex. Yeah. And my new radio home is it's called Big Board Sports, and it's 1045 The Team, ESPN Radio. And I'm on after Mike and Mike from 10 until 12, and I lead right into Han and Humpty, and then our afternoon crew from 2 to 7. And, of course, you can watch me Monday through Friday. 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock on News Channel 13, the NBC affiliate, the Olympic station, and they're getting ready to roll in Rio. Yeah. And you can also watch me on my 4 during our 10 o'clock newscast Monday through Friday as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Rodger, again for coming on Sports Fusion tonight.
Alex, keep up the great work. You're doing a really, really good job. Very impressed with everything you've been doing, and you've come a long way. Your guest lineup is really stellar. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Rodger. I'll talk to you later.
See you, Alex.
Okay, Fuse Nation, thank you for tuning in tonight and watching that interview with Rodger Wyland. He had a lot of great things to say about Ryan Fitzpatrick, the New England Patriots, and, of course, your Yankees and Mets teams. Go back, watch all my other episodes. Go back and watch my Tim Brando interview yesterday, and be on the lookout. I'll be interviewing MLB star next week. Who's going to be on? Kurt Schilling's going to be on in the next week as well. Big shows coming up on Sports Feuzion. Thank you, Fuse Nation. I will see you tomorrow with Kevin Duffy, who is a New England Patriots reporter. Thanks for watching.